Hey gang, this is Jay from Homemade Heroes. Today we are going to be doing our third in the Unusual PCs for Dungeons & Dragons series. I've got 5 minifigures for you today and some really interesting species displayed here. So let's dive in and take a look at them individually. First of all, we have our Loxodon Barbarian. As you can see, the head of the Loxodon is from the Chima theme. And while it is almost perfect for a Loxodon, the scale is a little bit off. It's slightly big, and this is because it is a headpiece over the top of a regular sized minifigure head. It is very striking, however, and once I move the head over to the other body, the scale factor is not going to be an issue. My story for this minifigure is that it is a barbarian from a tribe that is in a cold climate. You can see that the minifigure has furs on, and the front and back prints have rudimentary bone implements holding the wool or fur wrap around their shoulders. I've equipped our barbarian with a rather large hammer, which will make sense in just a moment. And here you can see the big fig. This is a large Lego figure that is also from the Chima theme and goes perfectly with that head. So the head being too big on the minifigure is now the perfect size on the big fig. The rough furs over the shoulders and below the belt really speak to the isolated cold weather barbarian nature of this particular figure. The large warhammer is now slightly small looking in the hands of this bigger figure. And I've built out a spear here that is of a suitable size. I imagine that when the barbarian rages, they bulk up and turn into this hulking monstrosity, or perhaps that's just how they're seen by their enemies as the rage takes place. There are a few cool little features on the trunk and body of the big fig here. You can see muscle and potentially bone showing through. In fact, this would probably be a really great figure for an undead Loxodon, as there is that kind of undead feel about it. The lower part of the trunk there is skeletal, and those rips and tears in the flesh definitely give off a bit of an undead vibe. Our next species is a gem dragonborn. Now, gem dragons are relatively new to D&D, and if there are gem dragons, then there must be gem dragonborn. I pretty much bought this minifigure as it is about a year ago. The only addition here is the staff with the gem on top. I want to give credit to my friend Sam here. He equipped this minifigure with these 2 gold staffs and added the pink gem. I'm imagining that the dragonborn is a warlock, and perhaps the gem helps to power the staff. And you can see that there are a lot of crystal-like features both on the head and on the prints of the torso in particular. It's also got those translucent parts to the leg, the arms, and all of this just really speaks strongly to the gem-like nature. Perhaps the warlock's patron is some sort of sapient crystal, and whenever the dragonborn warlock uses the powers of their patron, they have these crystalline structures grow from their skin. Our next 2 minifigures are for a request from one of our subscribers who asked for my version of an owlin. An owlin is an owl-based humanoid. I've created 2 owlin, and the first one that you see here I imagine being an artificer. As you can see, I've had to create the head for the owlin myself out of bricks. This means that proportions are definitely out and there's a bit of a scale problem here. So I had to use these slightly larger minifigure bodies which come from Hagrid, which is part of the Harry Potter theme. Owlin have quite flat faces compared to Aarakocra, which tend to have a elongated face and beak. So I wasn't able to use anything that currently exists in Lego for these minis. I had to create something from scratch. From the front, the effect is not bad, allowing for the scale issues here. But as we turn it to the side and the back, you can see that the head looks strange, as I've not been able to fill it out in a way that makes it actually look like a head. I'm not great at designing or building my own creations in Lego. However, it will work. You're just going to have a slightly bigger body than the rest of the minifigures at the table. The second owlin is, I think, probably a monk or possibly a fighter. The long leather duster here could potentially hide weapons, and the hat could be some sort of helmet or maybe a weapon too. Also, owlins have proficiency in stealth based on their stat block, and this is kind of a fun little feature where you have this large owl-like figure that moves silently through the darkness. As you can see here, I've used the hat to kind of hide the shape of the head, as once we see this body from the side and the back, it doesn't look that great. The hat, though, covers this up and gives a little bit of an ominous look to the character, making their eyes seem more brooding. And here, folks, we get to see all the minis together, and you really get a sense of the size difference and the scale of each minifigure when you see them side by side. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Drop any questions or comments down below, and we'll see you real soon.